Hospitals have a soundscape you stop hearing after a while. Footsteps softened by polished floors. Distant monitor beeps. Conversations carried in low, efficient tones. Everything calibrated toward function, toward order. My morning began like any other, charts reviewed, rounds completed, the quiet comfort of routine competence. In medicine, predictability is a rare luxury. I had learned to appreciate it. The coffee arrived late, not unusual. Interns ran on caffeine and anxiety, often in equal measure. She was new, bright, fast-talking. The kind of confidence that felt slightly over-rehearsed. She turned the corner too quickly. The collision was almost gentle. The cup tipped, heat spread across my blouse in a blooming, unmistakable stain. For half a second we both froze, that universal human pause where accidents still have the option of remaining accidents. "Oh my God," someone nearby whispered. I looked at the intern, her eyes widened. "I'm so..." She stopped mid-sentence. Something shifted in her expression, not panic, not embarrassment, but irritation, as if my presence had somehow inconvenienced her. "Well," she said, straightening, "maybe don't just stand there." The hallway went quiet in that subtle, tightening way professional spaces do when tension enters unexpectedly. I blinked once, absorbing the words more than the spill. "It was an accident," I said evenly. "It should have ended there. Most things do. But humiliation has a peculiar way of feeding on defensiveness." She crossed her arms, voice rising just enough to gather an audience. "Do you have any idea who my husband is?" A few staff members shifted uncomfortably. Others stared with open curiosity. Hospitals thrive on hierarchy, and hierarchy thrives on perception. "My husband," she continued, louder now, "is the CEO of this hospital." The sentence landed with practiced weight. Around us, silence thickened. Eyes flicked between us, calculations forming behind professional neutrality. Status claims have gravity in institutional environments. I became aware of the coffee cooling against my skin, of my pulse, steady, strangely detached. Because beneath the absurdity of the moment, something colder and sharper had begun to take shape. Not the claim. The name. She said it next, and with that single word, the hallway subtly reoriented. There are moments when your mind doesn't react emotionally. It reacts structurally, assembling implications, aligning fragments of memory, recognizing patterns your heart hasn't yet caught up to. I felt no surge of anger, no cinematic shock, only clarity. "Oh," I said softly. She mistook it for intimidation. "Yes, oh," she replied, chin lifting. "So maybe think about that before you start acting superior." Superior. The irony hovered briefly, almost surreal. Around us, people waited, for apology, for escalation, for the familiar rhythms of workplace conflict. Instead, I reached for my phone. The movement felt oddly calm, almost administrative. Years of clinical training had carved a reflex into me. When chaos emerges, stabilize first. I dialed a number I knew by muscle memory. He answered on the second ring. There was background noise, traffic, perhaps, or office movement, the ordinary sounds of a life continuing elsewhere. "Hey," he said, warm, unguarded. I studied the intern's face as I spoke. "You should come down here." A pause. Something in my tone must have traveled through the line. "Is everything okay?" "Yes," I said, "but I think you should come." Another pause. Longer. Then, carefully, "What happened?" I glanced at the spreading stain on my blouse. "Your new wife just threw coffee all over me." The words did not echo. They simply existed. The hallway stopped breathing. The intern laughed, a short, disbelieving burst. "Excuse me." But doubt had already begun its silent work. Because certainty, once disturbed, rarely holds its shape. Time stretched in that uncomfortable, elastic way it does when reality lags behind comprehension. No one spoke. No one moved. And then he appeared, not dramatically. Not rushing. Walking briskly, expression composed but tight around the edges, the face of a man stepping into something he did not fully understand but already feared. He saw me first. Then her. I watched recognition unfold across his features, not explosive, not theatrical, but devastatingly quiet. because truth rarely requires performance when all participants already know it. The intern's posture changed before he said a single word. Confidence drained not into panic, but into something far more human: confusion. "What's going on?" she asked, voice smaller now. He did not answer immediately. Hospitals teach you to read silence, to recognize the weight of words being chosen, of realities being rearranged. When he finally spoke, his voice carried none of the authority she had borrowed earlier. Only exhaustion. "We need to talk." No accusations, no explanations, just consequence standing plainly in a fluorescent lit hallway. No one applauded. No one reacted, because professional spaces have their own etiquette for witnessing personal implosions. Later, alone in my office, I stared at the dried outline of coffee on my blouse. Such an ordinary stain for something that had quietly redrawn the architecture of my life. Betrayal, I realized, isn't always discovered through secrets. Sometimes it arrives loudly, arrogantly, convinced it holds all the power. And dignity, strangely enough, often looks exactly like calm.